Hello, welcome to 5D Options, your home of quantum IT tech tips. This is where people come to learn from experience and not theory to help refactor your approach in IT and ultimately enrich your career and portfolio.
Hey guys, this is Tim Fraser from 5D Options. I'm back here today to talk about the continuation of the complexities that we're now dealing with cloud technologies. If you're an IT expert or an IT specialist and you're working in cloud, you will already know this problem. The problem is that as you look at public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, and where these clouds are deployed, and for every one of the cloud technology layers, there are tools and processes that are unique to manage them. So when you look at the landscape of the architecture that really encompasses cloud, you've got the foundational layer infrastructure, which it could include VMware, OpenStack, various other technologies. You could have containers that are running inside the hypervisor, so the application workload can run in it. You can have databases, and that could be any kind of database that you bring with you. That could be Oracle, SQL Server, MongoDB, MySQL, various types of database technologies. And then you get into the application space, you may have Ruby and Python and Java and several other areas. So this is really adding a lot of complexity to how cloud is being managed. And every one of these tools have their own, let's say, best practices in terms of configuration, deployment, and for different types of workloads. So there's some configuration challenges that will come with this. Now, if that's not complicated by itself, take it one step further. And for that is hybrid cloud includes deployment life cycles that could be in your data center, in a public cloud, or a private virtual cloud, such as what Amazon or even Google or Azure offers. So if you look at your application workload and the ability to deploy applications into an application, into a hybrid cloud or space, the complexities just are unfathomable. So what happens is a lot of the reasons why cloud has existed and has become popular, which is self-service and using tools of choice and tools of best practice of the day and technology to be able to really pull something together and do package build and deploy of those kind of workflows into an application space or into an infrastructure space really requires a life cycle view of provisioning, scaling, backup and recovery, logging, monitoring, and then the decommissioning process. So when you look at all of these aspects of cloud, and the processes that you have to support and the life cycle that you have to do to handle a particular application, knowing that an application, when you deploy it, you have to be deployed with the idea that you're going to deprovision it. So if not just planning on the configuration, but also going through the life cycle, like I said, provisioning all the way around into decommissioning it. And the life cycle of those decommissioning events might just be an hour, 2 hours, half a day, 2 days, or it could be a peak demand workload. And in some cases, you want to run that workload in your data center. In other cases, you want to run it in a external elastic cloud that you might use outside your company. But you want to have your application workload be able to grow and expand and collapse as appropriate. So this is really the power of cloud, is the ability to take advantage of these elastic capabilities. But when you start scaling an application, you have to think about, the application is deployed in your data center on a VMware farm. How are you going to turn around and deploy that same application workload inside an Amazon or an Azure container? And when you look at those two types of deployment models, there are different configurations, different controls, different governance aspects that play into this. This is actually in an area where I think the industry is really going to accelerate and expand in the next 3 to 5 years. My prediction is that there's going to be a swallowing up of a lot of players on the market in what I call cloud management platform, CMPs. So cloud management across hybrid cloud, public cloud is really the space that I see a lot of companies that are going to fight, and there's going to be a battle for this space. And innovative companies like Morpheus, there's several players in the space. If you look at the Gartner quadrant, they may be in the far right and upper right quadrant, and those are the big players that have been there for a while. They're probably going to buy somebody out who's got the innovation and technologies in the bottom right-hand side of the quadrant. So when you look at this space and you look at the evolution of what's going on, it is really, really important in this day and age, in this time frame when I'm doing the video, that you really look carefully, because there's a lot of hype and a lot of promise in this space and very few companies that are really delivering. And I mentioned Morpheus because I want to give them some credit. I've had a chance to talk to their team recently, and for a company and one of my clients that I was doing some work, and we looked at their product. They've got a really slender approach to multi-cloud, multi-platform, multi-environment orchestration, and creating a simple unified dashboard around this stuff. There are other tools on the market. RightScale does similar things. There's many other products. I don't want to go through a vendor list and across the board, but I just want to talk as an example using Morpheus as a up and coming player. They've done this for about 6 or 7 years. They've done this for practical purposes, not to sell a product and make it look shiny. They've done it to solve their own internal business problem. The background of the company is quite interesting. They're supported by an equity partnership, which they were basically doing this to manage their own multiple acquisitions on IT, and they realized that they could not support the growth of their companies. Same problem that we're dealing with out there in the business world, where we're basically trying to get multiple clouds up and running, multiple environments, and you don't always get a chance to buy all the same unified tools. You got to bring all these tools to come with it. Growth through acquisition is the reason why a lot of companies have so many tools and they don't know what to do with it. So anyway, the promise of cloud and the business value towards abstraction is not about creating a dashboard for executives to look at and go, well, this is really pretty, and how nice, you push a button and everything happens. There's a lot of complexity under this. And anybody that comes to you and says, hey, we've got a single solution, push button, and it works, really look deep, because when you start looking at your use cases on how your environments are, what application services you use, what middleware services you use, what are the services that you have for infrastructure as a service, platform as a service. Are you in an Amazon ecosystem, or are you in a VMware? Are you using vCloud Director, or are you using vCloud Air? Or these are the old names, like I said, they're rebranding these things all the time. But the point is, it's complex. And if you're trying to get yourself into a place where you're going to build a DevOps team, keep in mind that there's a problem with that. DevOps means you have dev, and then you've got ops. You've got the ops guys that care about the infrastructure, the dev guys care about the application. And if you're going to create a team that sits in the middle and basically manages the bridging of the workloads, it means that your DevOps team is now going to become the focal point, as well, potentially, as a bottleneck. So as you look at the DevOps teams and how they are playing together, you'll end up with scenarios where now your developers are having to count and wait on the DevOps teams to look at all the complexities of this technology, build a unified deployment framework, build a governance framework around this stuff, package and build it, and then say, okay, here now you guys can use my Jenkins pipeline or my Puppet or my Chef pipeline, and those are long-tailed items. I just came off of an assignment from one of the companies here in the Flagstaff area. They basically took the approach, and with my guidance, to build a DevOps team, so they can have this group that enables business to occur, enables the IT side of the house, and it also enables the application side. But very rapidly we realized that the approach we were taking to develop the middleware and the processes for lifecycle management is going to run into trouble, where we're going to have you cannot staff those teams big enough, and they're very fairly rich, complex technical team members, and you can't find those people really easily. So what you're looking for is the ability to piece these things together. So if you're looking at cloud, and you've got a situation where you have shadow IT. Shadow IT might say, hey, we're going to go to an XYZ cloud provider because we're just buying a product. We're going to do some customization, write some code. Oh yeah, we've got some vendors who can promise to do an implementation for us. Don't worry, IT. We're basically going to have them manage it just like it was you. So those are very simple, decisions. It seems like on the surface. Reality is, if you're looking at the whole governance, the control of that, and security, you really need a unified framework to bring it together. So shadow IT, very slippery slope. You want to enable it. You want to enable that mindset, but you want to do it in a govern and control manner. So helping the provisioning and then self-service portal for you to go to self-service model is really where you want the developers to come in and use these services and not wait on the DevOps teams to be able to build all these core engines and the foundation services for everything, which you're going to have to build some of those to start with, but you cannot have that be your bottleneck. Okay, so you want to basically do that. You want to enable the rapid use of services from your own cloud, and you want to do it across platforms. The developer doesn't care whether this container runs in a VMware farm or an Amazon farm or a Google farm or an Azure farm. All they care about is that the workload can run someplace, and they care about their environment can talk to each other, and there's enough encryption and controls to protect this. The second thing you got to worry about when you start looking at multiple clouds and you're looking at the cloud vendors that are out there, you want to build your applications in a way that they can be portable. Not because you just want to burst out into Amazon or keep some data in your data center, and you want to be able to run that in a private protected way, in what I call fail out or fail back into your data center if you need to, but really for putting some pressure on your cloud providers, because not all of these providers are going to be there. For example, what happened to Verizon's cloud? Verizon's cloud came and went in a heartbeat. This thing is happening all over in the cloud space. So cloud suppliers and providers are coming and going. So be careful about the cloud lock-in. So when you're looking at cloud services, you want to put a platform in place that allows you to use these cloud providers just like their commodity. Now that does mean that you're going to need to aggregate your use cases. You may not be able to use the edge cases of your cloud services from a particular provider. So stay in the soft middle ground that's mature, and most of the vendors are playing in this space. If you really want to put some investment in some features, for example, if you're going to use Amazon's ecosystem and you're going to use some of the latest and greatest of things that Amazon's putting out, that may prevent you from bringing that workload back into your data center. So think about that and be prescriptive about which areas of your IT services are going to be elastic and burstable and be able to run in the data center. The other thing is speed. So if you're looking at deployment, like I said before at the very beginning, if you're looking to enable the developers and help deploy applications to the cloud, speed to market is really one of the key drivers I see. Outside of the hidden requirements, which is, it's got to be secured, it's got to be protected, right? So having the ability to deploy, provision, scale things, backup and recovery, logging, making sure you have a monitoring platform so all the data can be monitored in a certain play in a single pane of glass, is really going to enable the speed for troubleshooting, speed for deployment, speed for access, for security and control. All of these play into having a way to be able to bring all these pieces together. So when you're looking at a cloud provider and you're looking at a cloud management platform, CMP, or a cloud abstraction, or what they call a single pane of glass, think of these areas that might be important. This is really where I think you're gonna be able to tell the difference between somebody who's just still in the hype cycle, or they've got a couple of cool features and they really want to get you to lock in, because once you're in on this portal and a unified way of doing this deployment, they want you to be able to be in their ecosystem. They all want, in effect, your transactions. They want their tools to be the very first ones that you're interacting with, and having the ability to strategically place a lightweight tool with the idea that it is not going to take a lot of complexities of deployment, complexity of management. I've worked with several vendors. Remember the days of CMDBs and ITSMs and IT service management catalogs and all the vendors that played in this space, CA, BMC, HP, go down the list. Guess what? You're basically spending millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're in that scale where you're hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to manage these types of platforms, and you only get 1 or maybe 3% benefit of this stuff. So don't overinvest. Invest just enough. Take a lightweight approach to your cloud management platform. Do your homework. Ask your questions. Look at your use cases. Look at your platforms. And when you are looking at these, my recommendation is, if you're going to be building a capability to enable a cloud ecosystem that is hybrid, you're going to own the problem of managing a lot of vendors and technologies, and you're going to have to invest in your people. You cannot just turn on the key and say, let the vendor handle it. So that means you're going to make some investments in your company, in your tools, in your people, in your processes. And this is where your investment really needs to be, is to be able to shore up that capability. And the main thing you want to do is not just bring one more tool in that's going to take a 6-month lead time to install and another 12 to 24 months before you can actually see any benefit of this. This is one of the key reasons why I said, if you're looking at the Gartner chart, the bottom right hand side of the triangle for companies that are in that space moving aggressively towards the upper right, that's the area I would be looking at for companies. And I'll put some slides up in the post-production for the companies that are playing in this space. Take a close look at this. I think you'll be surprised that there's some smaller players that really can do a lot in the space, such as Morpheus. And I would suggest you take a look at these players in the market space and ask yourself the question, do they support provisioning scale? Do they support backup recovery? Do they support logging? Do they support monitoring? Do they support decommissioning? Do they support a CMDB? Do they connect in with the BMCs and the CAs and the HP tools for management of ITSMs, IT service management? Are they integrated into service management as a whole, so you can have the exact same processes in the data center, and your change control processes, your incident problem change, all that fits in line with what you're going to do inside or outside the cloud. So this is just a tip of the iceberg, guys. I think there's a lot more we can talk about in this space. I'll probably do a couple more videos in this particular area to go a little bit deeper, but this is just a tip of the iceberg, that the cloud management platforms, CMPs, are here to stay. They're going to be confusing for a lot of companies for a while, until we can nail the players, jump on with the folks that offer the maximum what I call service coverage that you're looking for. Look at the small to aggressive players in this market. Look at the companies that are doing it for themselves and eating their own dog food, not the ones that are building it for product for sale, because they're just adding a lot of what I call bells and whistles you'll probably never get to, because the product's going to evolve much faster than you'll be able to adopt it. So anyway, on that note, today's topic, CMP. If you like it, please make some comments below. And if you want some additional clarifications, if you got some questions, please add them here. As always, you can find me on Facebook under 5D Options, and certainly on 5doptions.com as well. So appreciate some feedback, and some pass this on to those people of your peer group that might be interested to learn a little bit more about perspectives on cloud management platforms. Till the next time, Tim Fraser, 5D Options. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.